What's that?
It's good to have Shabbat. It's been quite a
Very
day.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I have to swing by and get your signature on that letter for the Kornreich conversion.
Oh, I was going to ask you if I could maybe pre-sign some certificates for B'nai Mitzvah, because I haven't been signing any of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are the office has those.
Okay.
Naama
And maybe sign 10 or 12 or something?
Yeah. Just send Naama a note and let her know that you're coming.
Yeah.
I guess you can just sign blank ones and she can print on them too.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. Then I'll drop the letter off at the office this weekend and it'll be on her desk for you to sign, and then I'll have them mail it out.
Sure.
Okay.
Wednesday would work for me if I can pop.
That's fine. Whenever. Yeah. I'll actually be there Wednesday, so that's fine.
Okay, good. I'll do that. Too bad about the rain for the family Shabbat.
Yeah, it's been raining all day. It's crazy. Somebody said it's we've had it's July and we have November weather.
I know. I'm having to fight my desire to just stay indoors.
Oh, don't fight it. You can watch Hamilton.
Where can you watch Hamilton?
Oh, on Disney Plus. The original cast. They released it today.
I don't have that. Maybe I should.
And for $7, you can get Disney Plus for a month, and then you can cancel it. So a $7 ticket to Hamilton with the original cast is a pretty good deal.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really good. All right, I'll try it. That's great.
That's our plan for tomorrow. So.
That sounds good.
Anyhow,
have you seen it?
8:15. Yeah, I saw it with the original cast. Not Lin-Manuel, but everybody else. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in New York for just half a day at the end of a meeting, and they dropped me off in front of the theater, and I went up, and they had one ticket. So I even paid face value. It was incredible.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, 7th row, just center left. So
wow.
Stage left. Yeah.
Okay, I'll pay $7. Done.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Don't mind us. We're just talking about Hamilton. It's good to be together on this rainy day. I loved not having to get in my car and schlep to the shul. It's never a schlep except for when it's raining. Then it's a schlep. So it's nice to be home and in our comfies and able to do Shabbat together. We have a very special service tonight, a special program as part of our service, which is the interview that I was able to do with Professor Gabby Sarusi from Ben Gurion University. And a thank you to David Burson from Ben Gurion University of the Negev here in Vancouver, his representative of Ben Gurion University, who helped arrange that interview. And I'll be sharing that shortly after we finish the Amidah and in the sermon slot. So stay tuned for that. I can literally say stay tuned at this time. And we turn to our cantor for an opening song.
Hine matavu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matavu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. And continuing at the bottom of page 129, if you do have a siddur with you, Eile chamdalibi. Eile chamdalibi, chusana vayalna titalem. 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 Eile chamdalibi, chusana vayalna titalem.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue page 131 as we sing Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash. We sing unto God a new song.
Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo, Lechoamim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Yod Norahu Al Kol Elohim Maya
We'll continue page, we go
142.
here, 142. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So as we've done the last couple of Shabbatot, we've reached out to members of our congregation to ask them to lead us in the Shabbos blessings from home. This past week was Phil Angel, our Marvi advisor's last week as Marvi advisor for us. Phil is a zoology graduate from UBC, and I think his parents finally said, "Go and be the scientist that we hired, that we raised you to be, not the youth advisor that you're loving." I'm sure they didn't say that, but so Phil's off to be a zoologist, and he's still working here in BC. But before he left us, he recorded the Shabbos blessings, and we wanted to share the Shabbos blessings from Phil Angel with you this evening. So let me just bring that up here.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I wanted to play you the 3 Shabbat blessings in preparation for Shabbat. And so we're going to start with the candle lighting. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And next the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. And last but not least, the bread. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Phil. We're going to miss you, though I know you're staying in town, and we hope to call upon you from time to time for various things. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We continue page 138 with Lecha Dodi as we welcome the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi, Zamor v'zachor v'dibur echad hishmianu El hamiuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad l'shem u'tiferet L'tehila lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabla Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha Ki mekor ha'beracha Mirosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tefila Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabla Mikdash melech ir melucha Kumitzehi mitoch ha'pecha Rav lach shevet b'ameka b'cha V'hu yachamol alaychem la Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabla Hitoreri Kiva orech kumi ori Uri shir daberi Kavod Adonai alayich nigla Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabla Boi v'shalom materet bala gam b'simcha u'tala toch emunei am segula Boi chala lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabla
We turn to page 263. If you rose for the Chatzi, for Chadodi, you can remain standing for Chatzi Kaddish, page 263.
Yitkadal v'yitkada shemei Rabba Yamad yibrachute v'yamlich malchute V'chayechon v'yom v'chon Tov chayedecho beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman karib V'himeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam lo me'almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitala Shemei Kudusha Barichu Le'elam min kol birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram ve'alma ve'imeru. Amen.
We continue with the Baruch Hu on page 264 as we join together as a call to prayer.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
If you've stood, you can be seated. We'll continue a prayer for evening, page 265, Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim u'bitmuna meshana itim, u'machalif et hazmanim u'musader et hakochavim, v'mishnotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah mitzvot chukim umishpatim otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shofbeinu uvkumeinu nasiach b'chokecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו Israel, Ohev Amo Israel. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leod al yadecha v'hayu l'totapot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמן.
We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, of order and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned then that God's presence redeems time and event. And so we celebrate now this power that makes for freedom. Mi chamocha, page 270.
Mi chamocha beilim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei pele, nora tehilot osei pele, malchotecha rauvanecha, okei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'lianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifed Adonai et Yaakov, u'ge'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
As we are on the Shabbat in between Canada Day and the 4th of July, a day that celebrates freedom and independence for both countries, I wanted to share a writing from the prophet Micah that I think speaks to both our time present and our time historical. Micah wrote, With what shall I approach the eternal? Do homage to the God on high. Shall I approach God with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Would the eternal be pleased with 1,000 rams, with myriads of streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for my sins? God has told you what is good, and what the eternal requires of you, only to do justice, and to love goodness, and to walk modestly with your God. I thought of these words as we think about the ongoing challenge that is democracy. And no matter what time and no matter what place in history, democracy is always a work in progress, one that we have to constantly be engaged in. We can sit here in some relative comfort and safety and security in Canada, and I know that many of us look across the border with significant concern for the discord that takes place there, but there's discord here also. There is injustice and there is inequality here as there is there, and one should never compare traumas and suffering. Suffering is suffering. But we are reminded from our tradition and we're reminded from the great words of leaders past that freedom and justice and indeed equality and democracy, they are not gifts. They are not blessings from God. They are those that are attained by human beings. They are perhaps a divine right, but they still need to be secured by our own actions. And the prophet Micah reminds us of that we must and should do good and do justice and love goodness and walk modestly with God. We continue Hashkivenu as we ask God's blessing of a Sukkat Shlomecha, a sukkah of peace over us, page 271.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
Page 272, Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ים בדם במבאי, Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bim bam bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bim bam bye. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinapash. Yam bada bim bam bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bim bam bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bim bam bye. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Adonai Sephatai Tiftachu Fi Agidi Latecha, eternal God, help us find the words as we approach you now in prayer. The Amidah begins page 274 if you're following along in your Siddur.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chasdei Avod B'Imahot, U'Mevi Geulah Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'Yava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechokel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Eloch, Melech Memid Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Bene'emanat Halachayot Meitim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMeitim. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kdoshim B'Chayom Yamadu Chasela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen. We pray for love to encompass us for no reason save that we are human, that we may blossom into persons who have gained power over our own lives. We pray to stand upright, we fallen, to be healed, we sufferers. We pray to break the bonds that keep us from the world of beauty. We pray to be open to our own true selves. We pray that we may walk in a garden of purpose in touch with the power of the world. You are holy and your name is holy. We praise you every day. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Amen.
Amen.
You can be seated if you stood. We're in the middle of page 277, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu.
Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu, Ritzei V'menuchatenu, Kadshenu B'mitzvotecha, V'tein chelkeinu B'toratecha, Sabeinu mituvecha, V'samcheinu B'shuatecha, V'taher libenu, V'taher libenu, V'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet, V'taher libenu, V'taher libenu, V'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'anchileinu Adonai Eloheinu, Be'ahava v'ratzon Shabbat kodeshecha, Ve'anuchu v'Yisrael, Mekadesh Shmecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael, U'tfilatam be'ahava tekabel, U'tehi l'ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael, Yisrael Amecha, El עבדיך וחוננו, שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון, לציון, לציון.
I referenced earlier a feeling I know many of us are experiencing as we sit here in British Columbia and look at our curve that was never quite curved and our flattened line, opening up to phase 3 and the opportunity to expand our bubbles a bit further, to venture out a bit more safely with a little bit more of a sense of normalcy. We know that it is perhaps temporary and certainly precarious. But there is an aspect of taking these things for granted also that our tradition reminds us is an all too human function. And so every week we have within our Siddur a reminder to offer prayers of gratitude, to say thank you for those things that we now appreciate, but then quickly move on from as though they were always there. It's important to remember that what we have gained in the midst of this phase 3 of our pandemic, we know was difficultly won through a great deal of sacrifice, a tremendous amount of suffering, and many, many hard and difficult choices that were made by our elected officials, by our public leaders, by our healthcare workers. And so at this time that we offer gratitude for the blessings in our life, we're reminded not to take those things for granted, and to recognize that gratitude is an obligation to us to acknowledge all that went into us being able to be in the position that we are, and to never for a moment take that for granted. Baruch atah modim anachnu lach she'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Sur chayenu megein yeshuenu atah hu lador vador. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts in our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
Kulam Yitbarach v'yitromam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu, Tamid le'olam va'ed. Ve'al kulam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu, Tamid le'olam va'ed. V'chol achem yoducha salah, v'alalu et shimcha be'emet, El Yeshuateinu v'Ezrateinu salah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ato Shimcha, Ulecha, Naeh lehodot.
We take a moment for private prayers and reflections.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Ki Ata Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol le'tovachol b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Hamavarech et Amo Yisrael Shalom.
Turn to page 371 as we offer a prayer for healing for those who are sick and in need of this prayer, aware of the power of our community to bring healing in their lives, healing to their souls, and the incredible courage and fortitude that those who are sick and those who care for them have in these particular moments. We ask God's blessing of healing on Raphael Yashea Ben Chaya, Igor Ilisov, Ed Ozer, Maury Dozer, David Shlomo Gorney, Beckett Alexander Williamson, Angela Budetz, Dr. Kuko Nortjoyo, Denise Huguet, Ronnie Goldberg, Andrea Jarzabak, Ari Schwartz, David Lowen, Sherry Lowen, and Jeff Lowen, Raymond Mayer, Maureen Newman, Florence Bayton, Esther Weinstein, Neil Tapley, Ellen Barbary, Michael Cavell, and Yana Timko. If there are others in need of this prayer for healing, I invite you to call out their names, give voice to them in your homes, call them out quietly in your hearts, or even type them into the comments below the video screen so that we can join together in this prayer for healing, page 371 of Misha Berach for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Cantor Tausig. A few words of announcement before our presentation, our program for this evening. Wanted to share with you those announcements, many of which were emailed out to you in the congregation. First, we are still doing Shabbat services and Saturday mornings. We still need people to help us in the Torah service. We have our Torah readers, but we do need those for an Aliyah Torah, those that will come up and do a blessing before and after the reading of Torah. Or perhaps you'd like to do an English reading, a prayer for our congregation, for our country, for the state of Israel, or for our healthcare workers. So if you are interested in doing that, please click on the link that we sent you in our email. and you can sign up that way. It makes the service so much more warm and I think inclusive when we have additional members of the congregation and friends of our community participating. So we hope that you'll do that. Shabbat services obviously continue tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It's our Sisterhood board installation, so I hope that you'll join us for that online or on TELUS or on Shaw to be part of the celebration of our sisterhood, our award-winning sisterhood. Tomorrow night is Havdalah at 7:30. Net Koziki will be leading that one on her own. But please join her, please join her for that, for Songs and a Story. Minyan continues Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:45 to 8:30 or so. Join us Saturday morning after our Shabbat services for our virtual Shabbat Kiddush. We've done this now a few times, and it's been lovely. So you join via this Zoom link. After the service, the link always stays the same. It's in your email that we sent out. It's on our temple website calendar. And join us there for a little kibitzing. You can bring your lunch or come have it afterwards. We chat for about 20 minutes or so. And it's a wonderful opportunity, again, to see each other and to connect. Outdoor Shabbats continue, even with the weather as inclement as it is. We hope that it stops for next week, where we'll be in the backyard of the synagogue again for a 7 p.m. Shabbat service. There's no 8:15 service that night. We did this last week, and it was really lovely. The rain held off just enough for us to get the service in, and it was kind of set up like a lounge in some ways. Everybody had a little cocktail table, socially distant from each other, and a little challah on their table, and dinner, those that ordered it, was waiting for you, and it was really a lovely time, and great to see each other again in a safe way. Shabbat in the Park continues, Talmud studies, Torah studying with Jeff Balin and Torah-inspired leadership, that continues. Our seniors programming continues with a coffee and chat with me Thursdays at noon, and a seniors lunch in the garden Thursdays at noon also. So this is obviously when the seniors lunch is taking place, the coffee chat, we have to fix that because it can't be in two places at once. We hope you'll join us for that. The first two, the 9th and the 16th, are already full. So please, we're limiting it to 16 people. So please sign up online if you want to participate. Family services, men's club, all those kinds of things are ongoing. So please check out these activities at the synagogue on our temple calendar so that you can join us there. So as was mentioned in the email, tonight is a special opportunity for us to learn a little bit about the research that's going on to address the COVID-19 virus coming out of Israel. And I was very privileged to have the opportunity to interview earlier this week Professor Gabby Sarusi from Ben Gurion University of the Negev. A big thank you to David Burson, who is Ben Gurion University of the Negev's representative here in Vancouver, among other things that David does, who arranged this interview. So we recorded it because of the time difference and everything, but I was also able to append onto the interview a clip, about 90-second clip, that covers in more graphic detail just what a remarkable discovery and invention Dr. Sarusi has developed. And then we have a conversation. The whole thing is about 18 minutes, and I'm going to share it with all of us now. It's also available on our YouTube page, which you can share with others after the service.
After the individual breath into the breathalyzer, the species from his mouth, including the viruses, attach to devices on this chip. We close the capsule that contains the chip, and then we transfer it to the spectrometer. And then we scan it for about 20 seconds, and then we have about 2 seconds of mathematical processing, and eventually we can say whether we have a corona carriers or we don't have a corona carriers. This invention will be fulfilled at point of entries, namely airports, cruise ships, companies. So we are going to position in those point of entries many machines Each machine will have a throughput of about 4,000 people a day. We believe that we will do the validation within a few weeks from now, and then we have to go through the FDA process. Luckily, there is now a fast track of the FDA, so I hope that it will go within another month, and hopefully by September, October, we will start to make systems. Since Israel is called a startup nation, and the reason for that is because we can find the power sometimes on a voluntary basis to gather forces of so many people that we know each other, and we have so good networking, and the country is not that big, so we can join forces in order to eventually coming up with a solution and to validate the solution in a very, very short time.
Gabi, thank you so much for joining us from Ben Gurion University in the Negev, and I'm joined by David Burson, a friend and a colleague here in Vancouver that helps and is the representative of Ben Gurion University of the Negev here in Vancouver. I want to call you Professor, but you asked me to call you Gabi, and so I will. We have been reading with great fascination about this breath test that you've developed, this rapid breath test for COVID-19 for the coronavirus. Can you tell us what the test is and how you developed it?
Yeah, I'm not coming from the clinical arena or nor from the biology arena. I'm coming from the physics and from the nanotechnology. And when I was looking at this problem of how to detect COVID-19 carriers, I said, well, we have viruses. Viruses, the size of the viruses are around 100 nanometer. So they are just like the nanoparticle that I'm using on the daily basis. And on top of it, probably there are a lot of cell fragment and a lot of proteins that are exhaled during the breath test that are also in the order of nanoscale. So I know from my background how to measure particles which are on the nanoscale. So I said, let's apply methods that are coming from physics in order to test the existence of this biological species. And of course, you can do it in different way. You can take swab, for example, and take the swab and put it on our device. I will explain what is our device. But we figure out that if you want to do a very rapid test, namely at the point of entries of, let's say, synagogue or airports or a stadium or any place that you want really to clear the people from having COVID-19, then it has to be very, very fast. You don't have time to take swab and then to transfer it to a test tube and things like that. You have to do it on a fly. And the only way to do it is using a breathalyzer, because this is the direct way to exhale anything which is in your lung. And we know that this virus, unfortunately, is in our lung, and basically we want really to see it. So the measurement itself, it's a measurement that is coming from the physics area. We are measuring the existence of the virus and the existence of any fragment that is coming from the lung based on their material science property. Namely, we are measuring their what we call the dielectric constant. We are measuring their size, and this combination of size and dielectric constant basically make change on the device that we did on the electronic chip. What we design on the chip is an array of thousands of micro antenna. Each of these antenna resonance in a very precise frequency. And once these biological fragments are absorbed on the surface of those antenna, it's alter the resonance frequency of this antenna array to a new frequency. And what we are measuring actually is we are taking this chip and we put it in a spectrometer that basically see what was the shift compared to the original resonance frequency. And this shift of frequency basically defined very well the coronavirus carriers. And that's something that we found out throughout the clinical trials.
Now, I'm fascinated by this. It sounds like the.
I'm sorry if it was too much technical.
No, I'm a total geek, and I love this. So it sounds like you've identified that the coronavirus has a unique signature, a unique frequency fingerprint almost, and you can sort that from other viruses that somebody might expel in their breath?
Not necessarily, not at the moment. Right now, what we are saying is that we have a screening system, because you have to understand all this research is a 3 months old research. So we didn't have the time to go and scan influenza virus or any other virus. We didn't have the time and the capacity to do it. I'm working with 2 master degree students, and that's it. So,
just 3 of you.
Right.
That's
and with no budget.
Right. That's Israel and a Jewish organization. Yes.
Exactly. University,
Right.
We did it every day. We got some friends and family volunteers that really helped us in order to accomplish our goal. For example, we printed the breathalyzer using 3D printing, and didn't have the budget to do it. So one of my friends offered, okay, I will do it for you, no problem. I'm volunteering, no problem. I have nothing to do right now. Nobody ordered for me anything, so I'm going to do it for you. So this kind, it's Israel. This is the way it's working. So using a lot of help from friends and family, we demonstrate, and we went to the clinical trials, and who helped us in the clinical trial is the Israeli equity. They took us, they saw the potential, and they say, we will help you to get to the patients. Actually, the first clinical trial were on Israeli soldiers that were in quarantine. They're all diagnosed with the COVID-19, and they were in a special place in Ashkelon at that time. Very nice place, by the way. And we went and test them, 120 of them, and we about 40% were COVID-19 carriers, and the rest were healthy. And then we learn what is the signature of the COVID-19 carriers. And we have implemented those signature on other individual, and we saw that it's really working. It's very, very nice to see it.
So tell us about the reliability then, because I know from the articles that I've read, you have a greater than 90% accuracy with your test, which is
right. In order
better
to
than
understand
the PCR test, which is 70 or 80%.
Yeah, exactly. So right now we consider only for this clinical trial, we consider the PCR to be the gold standard. Namely, it is 100% accurate, although we know that it is not. Okay, but we need a point of reference. Otherwise, we don't have any point of reference. So the way that the clinical trials were done is that from any individual, we took the breathalyzer test, and in parallel, we took the PCR test, the swab PCR test, and we gave our result within 1 hour, 2 hours, because we just had to go to the lab to measure it in the spectrometer to see the frequency shift, and then we could know exactly if it has the unique signature of COVID-19 carriers or no. The PCR, of course, took some more time. Sometimes it took 1 day, sometimes 2 days, sometimes even 3 days. And we gave our results blind. We didn't know what are the result of the PCR. And then after 1, 2, or 3 days, we got the PCR test results, and we compare our result to the PCR test results. And we got more than 90% accuracy agreement with the PCR results, okay? As for 10%, we don't know who is right. Maybe we are right and the PCR is wrong, or maybe other way around. So we don't know. But there are several anecdotes that I must mention. One anecdote is that for one of the individual, we said positive and the PCR said negative. So we said, okay, we failed, okay? And then from some reason that we don't know, they did on the same individual, another PCR test, and it was found positive actually. So exactly what we said before. So we got a lot of confidence from this, that maybe we can do better. Another anecdote is that in one of the cycle that we did, we checked something like 12 I think 12 soldiers. We didn't know because we were not taking the actual test. They were special people who are, cover themselves and they are protected to take the test. And then we got results which shows us that it's not the usual signature as we know. And we said, okay, look, we got a very weird results here. What is the weird results? We got results which are just between healthy and sick with COVID-19, just in between. More tendency to the sick, but it's not really sick, but it's not really healthy. And we didn't get it before. And so they said, okay, let us check. They came to us after 30 minutes and said, you know what? Today, they took the test from the yellow camp. I said, what is the yellow camp? And they said, the yellow camp is a camp of those soldiers who are in the recovery, the last stage of the recovery. And then we realized that maybe our test can see also people who are really on the recovery stage. But this is not as important as by symmetry. By symmetry, if you can see people who are in the last stage of the recovery stage, maybe, I don't claim it right now, but maybe we'll be able to see people who just started the COVID-19. And maybe by symmetry, we can say, maybe we can also see people who were only just infected, namely maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours after they were infected. Maybe, but we don't have a real proof for this, but there is a reason to believe.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing. I am so blown away and impressed by the ingenuity and the resourcefulness that you and your team are bringing to this, and really that Israel has brought to so many things, in the startup nation mode. Do you think that there is anything unique about Israel which enables such a small country to develop such a groundbreaking and revolutionary, technologies in general, but medical technology such as your test in particular?
I think that the people in Israel, I think that's it's all over the world, but in Israel it's more emphasized, I must say, that people really feel the sense of necessity. Namely, there is a need, people understand the need, and people, try to come with solution from their fields. I believe that people who are coming from the biology field will come with solution from biology. I'm simply working on a daily basis with nanotechnology and physics and electrical engineering, so I came with solution from this field. And second thing is that the country is not large enough. I'm saying it on the negative connotation, because if the country is too large, so you start to losing the connectivity between the people. You start to lose the nice networking that this and this and you can get help and so on. I think that Israel today, when the population is somewhere between 8 million, 9 million, this is an optimal population. In one hand, you have the critical mass of having enough people and enough ingenuity in the country in order to do a lot of things, but it's still small enough in order to have this nice networking of a small country that everybody knows everybody. People share with me the Air Force. I was in the Air Force, so I'm getting help from people that served with me 30 years ago in the Air Force. It's amazing because we are still in contact. You don't see it in many places in the world, I think.
So here's the $1 billion question, perhaps, which is so you finished phase 1 of 120 or so human trials. What's the next step? And when do you think, if all of these things continue to be positive, when you'll be able to roll this out at scale and people in Israel and around the world will be able to use your test?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now, we were asked to do another 120 of heterogeneous population because the first 120 were on a quite homogeneous population of soldier with the age between 18 and 23. So we did it. We already did it. We gave our blind results, and we are waiting, every day for the PCR test in order to compare. And then our clinical trial will increase or will double from 120 to 240. But of course, in order to go to the market and provide this test for the entire population, we have to go through the regulatory process. Fortunately, there is now emergency track of the FDA and also with the EUA. We are right now in a process of establishing a company that will basically take this invention and commercialize it. And this company will basically approach the FDA, the European authority, and other places in order to grant the approval for this test. This process usually takes years. I hope that in this case it will take us 2 months, at the most 3 months, and we will get at least the certification to go and start to sell it in the market. Once we will do it, we will be able to give this benefit to the entire population around the world. Because imagine that you are going to the airport and you are clearing with this system within 15 seconds, and you can go on your flight. You want to go to school, you want to go to the synagogue, in every place where there are a lot of gathering of people, we will be able to clear them to some extent, of course. We don't say that we are 100% correct, but to some extent, and to give more comfort to the people that they can go on the flight, they can go on the ship, they can go to the stadium, and they can go to the cinema as well.
Gabi, thank you so much for your time and for your incredible work. I think that our congregation and the Jewish community worldwide, and I hope the world community sits back in awe of the ingenuity and the work that you're doing with just 2 master's students and yourself. But some of the greatest computer companies in the world were started in somebody's garage. So this is the Israeli version of starting a company in the garage, I guess, which I know happens all the time. We wish you and your team b'chatzlacha, and to everybody in your family that they should have good health and much success in what you're doing. Thank you, Gabi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Bye-bye.
Bye. Leitraot. Bye. David, thank you as well. Thank you. So there you have it. And it was quite a conversation. Left me feeling quite hopeful. And I want to send it to everybody who's out there promoting BDS. But just leave that at that. Page 586, we rise for Elenu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, התקנו ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחת האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושבו קרוב בשמיים עמו, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחתינו. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We turn now our thoughts to those who are not with us, but whose memory always is, and it guides us in all that we do. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year, when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as they live, we too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them. On this Shabbat, we recall those who died during this past week, these past 30 days, whose families are in the midst of Shiva and Shloshim. We recall of blessed memory Carol Fugman Fry, Rabbi Eli Lagnando, Cheryl Lazar, Shirley Morris, Russell Remick. And those for whom the Yortzeit, the anniversary of their death, falls on this Shabbat, we recall them for blessing as well. Simon Bild, Aaron Bobaroff, Jack Bodman, Bill Chalmers, Sadia Cohen, Clara Cole, Sophie Korber, Ruth Crystal, Edward Tonberg Edwards, Leon Feldman, Bella Fixler, Elliot Frankelson, Mac Friedman, Rhoda Friedrichs, Rosalind Gould, Milton Grossman, Sarah Gutman, Lillian Hyman, Harry Karlinski, Leona Katz, Francis Laszlo, Robert Lewis, Martin Manis, Ruth Newman, Herschel Rabinovich, Katie Rootman, Gershon Silver, Molly Silverman, Francis Temple, Edith Wetstein. And if there are others who have memories of loved ones at this time to say Kaddish, I invite you to call out their names at home, to speak them quietly in your hearts, or even again to type them into the comment window below this video so that we can join you in remembering them for blessing. We add to those names the names of all of those who've died in defense of freedom and justice, victims of terror in this land, the land of Israel, around the world, and those who died in the Shoah and the Holocaust that have no family left to remember them. We recall them for blessing as well. The Kaddish prayers on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, b'yoma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malkutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'maru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, Vit Adar, Vit Ale, Vit Alal, Shemei Kudesha Brichu. Le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damin ron mi'alma, v'yimaru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimaru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, huya asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimaru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us. And we say together, Amen. That concludes our service for this evening. We'll conclude with a closing song with our cantor and a reminder, Torah study tomorrow morning at 8:30 via Zoom, and services begin at 10 a.m. It's our Sisterhood board installation Shabbat, so I hope that you'll join us for that very special Shabbat. Cantor Tavsik.
Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel Ve'imru amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.